Assalamu alaikum everybody. I am very honoured and pleased to be speaking with you tonight. I am an historian with a master's in Indian partition, a writer, PR professional and founder of Golden Threads, which is a project about shared Muslim culture and history. I am passionate about social justice and equality, and the Polyclinic project is a cause close to my heart. After all, providing access to healthcare for everyone, regardless of status or background, is a core Islamic value. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "There is no disease that Allah has created except that Allah has also created its remedy." He also said, "Verily, your body has a right over you." As well as our obligation to look after our own health to the best of our ability, Islam teaches a concept of social welfare and looking after our community and vulnerable people. The concept of healthcare for all is intrinsically Islamic. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also said, "The believers are like one body in their mutual love and affection. If one limb is injured, the rest responds with sleeplessness and fever." As we approach the holy month of Ramadan, as well as refraining from food and drink, we will also be entering into a spiritual zone and will be striving for a deeper connection with God. This should also involve giving charity and supporting and caring for those who are vulnerable and championing their rights. Healthcare is a fundamental human right, yet millions of people around the world lack access to even the most basic treatments. Acts of ongoing charity, such as setting up a clinic or hospital, also benefit a believer in this life and the hereafter. According to the Journal of the British Islamic Medical Association, Islamic medical ethics are based on the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet. It states, "The first main principle of Islamic medicine is the emphasis on the sanctity of human life, which derives from the Quran, where God says, 'Whoever slays a soul, unless it is for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, it is as though he slew all men, and whoever keeps it alive, it is as though he kept alive all men.'" According to this verse, saving a life is an obligation and the unwarranted taking of life is a major crime. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, valued medicine and treating patients who were unwell. As well as praying to God for healing, Islamically it is fundamental to do whatever you can physically to save a life where possible. In the Prophet's day, he would himself look for physicians to treat those who were sick. He would also take medicine for himself and encourage his family and followers to take medicine when required. The first Muslim mini hospital in a tent was set up in the Prophet's time by a Muslim woman and companion of the Prophet. This amazing lady was named Rufayda al-Aslamiyah, and she famously treated soldiers who were wounded in the battles of Badr, Uhud, Khandaq and more. Ruqayya was the first female nurse medical practitioner at least 1200 years before Florence Nightingale. Her father was also a physician and he mentored her in the science of healing. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, valued the work of Rufayda very much, and it also shows his positive attitude to women working and being involved in the community. Another great example of a strong Muslim woman was Hazrat Khadija, the Prophet's wife, who was also a successful businesswoman in her own right and stood side by side with the Prophet. The contribution of Rufayda is still to this day acknowledged in the Muslim world. Interestingly, the famous College of Nursing at the Aga Khan University in Pakistan was named after Rufayda in recognition of her services to her community. For centuries, Muslims have been at the helm of medicinal and scientific advancements. Arabs have made significant contributions in this field, but so too did many other Muslims, including those in Andalusia. Indeed, it is worth noting that the first public hospitals arose in Islamic cultures. Whereas the Greeks are known for the origins of medicine, they did not have hospitals in the modern sense. Mostly their patients were initially treated at home. Following on from Rufaida's mini hospital, the first general hospital in the Islamic world was built in 805 in Baghdad under the Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Following this time, more and more hospitals were built across the Muslim world. The Islamic concept of a hospital or bimaristan had various services besides medical treatment alone. It was also a place for convalescence, a home for emotional disorders, a retirement home that took care of older and vulnerable people. They were also places of learning for future medical practitioners and centres for research. Although places for ill persons were in existence across the world, they were very basic places which were not in the best condition. They were not hospitals in the modern sense of the word. You only have to watch the children's show Horrible Histories to get a realistic sense of how hospitals and doctors treated patients in the West. Muslim physicians, on the other hand, took a completely different approach. The bimaristans were not only places to heal physical ailments, but were built in a style that promoted holistic healing of the whole patient. It involved building beautiful places and environments that created an emotional balance and aided inner as well as external healing. Muslim hospitals looked after rich and poor due to the Islamic principle of treating people and preserving all life. Hospitals were funded by charitable religious endowments or waqfs, which also helped with the upkeep of the buildings. Hospitals became a central part of the community and centres of learning. Crusaders were said to have much admired the Muslim hospitals, and they were an inspiration for the hospitals built later in the West. As we prepare to enter Ramadan, we will embark on our own spiritual journey. It is undoubtedly a time for extra prayers, reflection, discipline, and breaking our bad habits. But as Muslims, we also believe that our purpose on this earth is to serve others. Therefore, let us remember those who do not even have access to basic human rights, such as healthcare, and as well as praying for them, we should support them in any way that is within our means. Wishing you all a blessed and fruitful Ramadan. May God answer all our prayers and bring peace and stability to all those suffering across the world.